สวัสดีครับทุกท่านครับวันนี้เรามาอยู่กับผู้สื่อข่าวสายแมนเชสเตอร์ยูไนเต็ดอีกท่านหนึ่งที่ใช้คำว่าคร่ำวอร์ดแล้วก็ทำข่าวนะครับเวลาแมนเชสเตอร์ยูไนเต็ดลงเตะหรือว่ามีข่าวของกองทัพปีศาจแดงของเราก็จะมีเขาคนนี้ครับที่จะนำข่าวสารของกองทัพปีศาจแดงมาให้กับทุกท่านนะครับวันนี้เราอยู่กับ Laurie Whitwell นะครับนักข่าวจาก The Athletic นะครับ so Laurie it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Nat. You were very gracious when I was over in Thailand, so at least I can do to repay the favour.
Thank you. So say hi to Thai fans. What are you feeling when you were in Thailand 3 months ago?
Yeah, it was really interesting. Everyone was very engaging, very warm country. People were very welcoming, and it was nice to see how far the Manchester United brand kind of travels across the world, I suppose, how many fans there are in different parts of the country as well. The fact that you were all informed, intelligent on football, had some really good conversations with yourself and other people that I spoke to. And clearly there's a lot of passion there. You know, the fact that you had a lot of fans there just for the warm up for the kind of open training session was kind of illustrative of how strong the feeling is. So it was a really warm and engaging time over in Thailand.
Okay, thank you. So may I have to know you better. So next question is that which team do you support in England and why?
It's Manchester United. My dad took me to games when I was a kid, 95, 96 season. Eric Cantona scored against Arsenal, sort of chested the ball and then volleyed it over David Seaman. That was my first game. And then from there, we went quite regularly. 99 Champions League final in the new camp, that kind of stuff. And just the fact that, my friends, I'm from sort of Stockport, which is not too far from Manchester. My friends supported Manchester United as well. It's community as much as anything. But that's the club that I support.
Yeah. So the moment that you decide to support United is the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer goal, 1999?
No, a bit before that, really. It was my dad. My father tells me who to support, so he takes me to the games. I was like 8 or 9 at the time, so I don't really have much choice in the matter. But thankfully, United were doing quite well and winning things, so it was an enjoyable time. But no, I watched the 94-95 season, the end of that season on TV, I remember, and United lost the title that day to Blackburn. And then the next season, we started going to games, the Arsenal game with Cantona scoring, the Leeds game where Roy Keane scored, and then a Coventry game as well where Cantona scored again. There was quite a lot of 1-0s in that season, and Cantona was instrumental in a lot of them. So, 1995, 96 was probably my first proper season as a United supporter.
And which is your favorite player of all time at United?
It's a really tough one. Probably Paul Scholes, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah, just because the longevity, the talent on the ball, the way that he used to be able to keep midfield ticking over. I think I've appreciated him more since he retired, and realising that it's not that easy to do the kind of things that he was doing, spraying passes left and right, scoring some incredible goals, long-range hits that just made you go, wow. And he had a bit of devil in him, didn't he, as well? He could put a tackle in and sort of mix it up that way as well. So, Paul Scholes, I'd probably say.
Yeah, completely agree with you. Paul is fantastic. Laurie, do you have any opinion about the rising of Scott McTominay? What happened to him and how Ten Hag trained him to make him this good?
Yeah, he's really responded, hasn't he? I mean, he's shown hints of that, certainly at different points. I mean, you look back and think Jose Mourinho was the manager that gave him his debut. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer picked him regularly. Ralph Rangnick picked him regularly, and now Erik ten Hag. So you had 4 different managers that have all picked him. So he's obviously got something that they admire. Clearly good stature about him, tenacity in midfield. Will carry out the manager's demands pretty much to a T. So, but I think with Ten Hag, perhaps he's got the Casemiro factor. Does that help? Having a guy like that breathing down your neck, and also the fact that you've got Christian Eriksen next to him. I suppose the thing with Fred being next to him was are they too similar? You know, the kind of players that they are, you know, wanting to kind of nip in and win the ball higher up, you know, and then, you know, energy has been a big part of their game. Christian Eriksen's a different type of player. He's obviously very good on the ball, technical. So, you know, does Scott McTominay bounce off him a little bit better than perhaps he would do Fred, you know, when he comes to passing the ball? I think Ten Hag perhaps has simplified his game and given him direct instructions from what he wants, and you know, players being around him the way they are. I think McTominay's flourished. So yeah, long way to continue.
Since the Liverpool game, also when we had a 4-win streak, the fans saw some camaraderie and unity in the team. How Eric and his coaching staff completely changed the mentality of the team, like they were so bad in terms of unity in Rangnick's era. And what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose this is an ongoing process. That there'll be dips in there to come for sure. But I do think the players that he's brought in, he feels subscribed to that, you know, have strong mentality. So you look at Lisandro Martinez, clearly he's got that strength of personality. He thinks Anthony, I think, has got the same kind of drive in him, not to be sort of cowed if results go bad or performances aren't what they want. You know, the confidence has been an issue, I think, under, you know, perhaps even Solskjaer, certainly under Rangnick, and then in a couple of games, as we've said, at the start of this season. So Ten Hag, you know, by changing the personnel, has done that, and also I think by working with them on the training pitch and telling them constantly, and then they've seen the results, you know, turn with the Liverpool game. I think that will help them with the confidence and with the character going forwards.
Okay. So about the owners, Gary Neville just said that the cash position of the club is low compared to the previous years. Are there any chances that Glazer's family will sell the club in 3 or 5 years' time? May I ask you to talk about the takeover situation, please?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously been reports that they are more open to selling now than they have been in the past. I think it's not a uniform approach between the 6 siblings. There's obviously different personalities in there, different opinions. So whether some, you know, one of the brothers or Darcy, the sister, feels like they want to sell, that still has to be debated. And I don't know if they are all on the same page on that. Clearly, they will want a lot of money for the club if they do end up ever selling it. Jim Radcliffe has publicly declared that he would like to buy the club. It would take a lot of money, I think, certainly more than what Chelsea went for to get the Glazers to sell. And even then, it would, you know, you sort of wonder exactly about their intentions on it. You know, there's a suggestion that they might sell a minority stake. I don't think any investor worth his salt would buy a minority stake without having any ability to control the club, because you get trapped in a situation there where you own, you know, you paid a lot of money for something, but actually don't have any real decision-making power. So it will be an interesting one to watch. There's more noise now than there ever has been about the Glazers potentially being open to selling the club. But I still think there's a long way to go before that actually happens.
Okay. You just wrote the article in The Athletic with David Ornstein that maybe United might not going to spend in January, but it's so obvious that we need a new, younger and fit striker. If they won't buy one, will it affect the chance to fight for the top 4?
Yeah, centre forward is certainly an area that they've looked at hard. They clearly tried to sign Marko Arnautovic. They had talks with Benjamin Sesko. They had talks with Darwin Núñez before he went to Liverpool. So it's an area that they're, you know, looking at. You know, I think Anthony Martial did pretty well in pre-season, so I suppose he's offered himself as an option there, at least for this season. Although he's been injured, you know, for basically the whole season, apart from that one substitute appearance. Marcus Rashford, I think, has done pretty well up top in the games that he's started there, and Cristiano Ronaldo obviously offers, you know, a pretty elite alternative, albeit he's obviously not exactly the style that Erik ten Hag would want. So there's options there, but they're not ideal. And really, you want to have a centre forward that you can pin your hopes on for the next 5-6 years, you know, like Erling Haaland at Liverpool. So, yeah, I don't know if they don't spend in January, whether that would undermine that situation. I kind of feel like it would be a rare thing to be able to sign a proper striker in January. Usually those kind of things happen in the summer market. But yeah, the idea that United probably won't have that much money to spend is sort of well founded. You know, they went way over budget in the summer to try and back Ten Hag. Really, after they had those 2 dreadful defeats, they weren't intending to spend that kind of money, and then the defeats happened, and I think they realised they needed to support him to get some kind of momentum into his reign. But I think that then has the knock-on effect of January being a quieter month for sure.
But back to midfield situation, are there any chance that we will looking for the name of Jude Bellingham and Yuri Tielemans, 2 names?
Yeah, Yuri Tielemans, I'm not so sure. I mean, he's available. You know, he's been available probably since even before he signed for Leicester United. You know, I think he would have happily gone to United if United had made a bid. You know, he's got 1 year left on his contract, so free agent next summer potentially. You know, maybe as a free transfer, yeah, United could go and do something like that. But I don't know. I get the impression that they've had the opportunity before now, so there must be something stopping them going, yeah, let's commit to this. Jude Bellingham's a different case entirely. They've tried numerous times to sign him. Most recently, when he went to Dortmund, ultimately, we've actually got a piece on that coming out in the Athletic soon. So keep your eyes peeled. But yeah, he's I think a superstar, and I think he's got the full package, both playing and psychologically. United will definitely be in for him again, but I think he'll have his choice of suitors. Liverpool, Man City, even maybe. I'm sure Chelsea will get in the mix. You know, they've been going for every player under the sun, it seems like, this summer. So there'll be a long list of suitors. United have tried. You know, they've got relationships there with the player and his dad, Mark, who's influential figure. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be one on the list for United.
Okay,
the top of the list.
Yeah. About Cristiano Ronaldo, Laurie, we've seen that he's now enjoying playing with the team. But I heard that he would make some announcement, like he say that before the market closed, maybe about his future. And this year he has to handle a lot of things, like he lost his baby and needs to see a psychiatrist as well. What are your opinion about Cristiano?
Yeah, I mean, he obviously wanted to leave, didn't he? There's different rumours about why that was the case, whether he had an offer on the table from Chelsea. That was one suggestion, that then Thomas Tuchel pushed back against that and didn't want him at his club. And ultimately, that's why the deal didn't happen. You know, Ronaldo went, you know, privately about wanting to leave. So a lot of people were thinking, well, he's got something lined up for him to do that kind of thing. Ultimately, he's accepted that he's not going to be leaving the club. He's had to get his head right, more switched on, that he's going to stay. And from what we're told, you know, he has actually re-engaged with the club, with players a lot more. There was certainly a period during the summer where it felt like he was isolating himself in preparation for a move. Now that the window's closed, he seems like he's engaged. You know, when he's come off the bench, he's done quite well. I certainly thought at Leicester that was the case. He started against Sheriff, so you kind of hope that he'll be a positive influence for the rest of the season. Maybe it'll be something that gets looked at again in January. He obviously wants to play Champions League football to improve his record and his goal scoring statistics in that competition. It kind of was odd to see him in the Europa League, I suppose. But it's going to be an issue that's going to keep on being something that United have to be aware of, because it's not like you're going to have a player of his experience and pedigree on the bench week after week.
Okay. Thank you, Laurie. และนี่คือ Laurie Whitwell นะครับแล้วถ้ามีโอกาสเราจะชวน Laurie มาพูดคุยใหม่อีกครั้งนะครับ So thank you for your time, Laurie, and hope we have a chance to talk with you again. Thank you.
Thanks, Nat. Pleasure.
ขอบคุณครับสวัสดีครับ